お。
Mr. Hamish, can you explain to us what happened to the colonial collection? It seems somewhat depleted.
Most likely maintenance work, tidying up.
You're not sure, then? But you're the deputy director.
Well, I am busy. I cannot be everywhere at once.
As deputy director, how was your relationship with Montague Dunn?
To be honest with you, Mr. Holmes, it could have been better. You see, every Tuesday he would carry out his inspection of the gardens, but it was solely to make an impression, great pretense that he cared at all. He would give out absurd orders, ignoring anyone else's opinion. He would then disappear for the rest of the week. He was what some might call a man of action. I'd say rather he was overzealous and chaotic. So after all, it was no wonder, perhaps, that he ended up like that, if you take into consideration his kind of lifestyle.
You mentioned that Mr. Dunn led a particular lifestyle.
Well, it's no secret that he enjoyed, celebrating, shall we say? He was a member of the London Smart Set. He was famous for it. That and...
And?
He had an eye for the ladies, to put it mildly, Mr. Holmes.
なるほど。
Mr. Hamish, can you tell us who holds the keys to the locked greenhouses?
That would be Albert, Mr. Dunn's son. Yes, Albert keeps all the keys, and one can only imagine why.
What do you mean?
Well, he was never interested in Kew Gardens before, and now all of a sudden he is trying to act as if he owns the place. I think he wants to take over the management here. He'd do better to leave that to me. He has no experience. No, none at all.
What is your opinion of Albert as a student of botany?
He's useless. I often tell him so, and I can only give him cleaning tasks. Botany is not his life's work, and his father well knew it. He was furious about it.
He was?
Oh, yes. He forced his son to work here, and he never missed an opportunity to criticize him publicly.
Are you able to elaborate on that?
Well, for example, with our last exhibition here, Mr. Dunn had Albert make a presentation speech. But then, while the lad was speaking, Mr. Dunn interrupted him, asking him difficult questions, making him look like a failure. It was with the intention of making a fool of him, Mr. Holmes.
That must have been terribly humiliating.
Yes, he was crushed, and he had to leave. Everybody was making fun of poor Albert. That is, except for Miss Margaret White, who is such a nice lady and who always takes pity on Albert.
You mentioned a Miss White. Would you tell us more about her?
She is a student who works here part-time. She is quite charming indeed. She possesses a great talent for botany. You should take a look at some of her experiments that she carried out in the laboratory. Ah, if only she were not so naive.
Why naive?
The way she used to flutter around Mr. Montague Dunn. And he couldn't help but be flattered by all her attention. How could an intelligent woman such as Miss White not see through his game? I can only scratch my head and wonder.
Tell me, Mr. Hamish, do you grow the more deadly variety of plant here?
You mean insectivorous? Yes, but nothing larger than that.
Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue our investigation.
なるほど。なんかいろいろ見えてきたね。最初なんとなくこいつが怪しいんじゃないかって気もしたけども、ちょっといろいろ違うような気もしてきたな。
Locked.
まずあれか。アルバートに会って鍵をもらわなか。
Who is Miss Margaret White?
She is the young lady who studies with me. She visits here sometimes to help out with the greenhouses. In fact, she should be here today. She wanted to work at the seed house. That's the small greenhouse across from the large glass house.
We noticed that a part of the colonial collection has been cleared.
At the moment I'm just dealing with the storage room. I don't know much about the other rooms.
I imagine that your relationship with your father may have been a strained one.
Yes. I cannot say that he was a kind man, for he never listened to me at all. He forced me to work here. But now, after his death, I've been pondering it over. Perhaps he wasn't so wrong about me after all. I have to follow his path, and I have to manage Kew Gardens, and I can do it. I can be as good as any other who works here.
Would you please tell us about Martin Hamish, the deputy director?
Well, I have to tell you that Mr. Hamish is not and has never been the deputy director of Kew Gardens. My father would not have tolerated it.
Indeed? Well, that is most interesting. He told us that he was.
Yes, because he believes that the management should be passed down to him now that my father is dead. But in actual fact, Mr. Hamish only has the honour of being the garden's longest-serving employee. In fact, if we are to think logically at all, it should be me who takes over the management of Kew Gardens.
Do you not have a good relationship with Mr. Hamish?
I suppose so. But we have very little in common. Mr. Hamish loves his plants and Kew Gardens, and I cannot say that I share his passion.
I see. And how was his relationship with your father?
Oh, he hated my father. It was obvious. He would be furious whenever my father boasted of Kew Gardens in the newspapers or at conferences. He was convinced that my father was stealing all of the credit for himself. But my father treated Mr. Hamish in the same way as he treated anyone. Dismissively. With indifference.
Do you hold the keys to all of these locked doors?
Yes, you can have them. But I cannot give you the keys to the cloakroom. The employees' effects are private. I am sure you understand.
Thank you, young man. We shall see you again soon.
なるほど。なんていうか、今のところ全員に動機がありそうだよな。あれ、もう一個できないのか。まあ、いいか。種園は、これ育苗か。どこだ？ここだっけ？あ、違うな。奥か、あれか。まあ、全部見てもいいだろう。お。
Look, Holmes, this charming lady must be Miss White. She's entering the seed house.
と言ってもこれ全部調べたもんな。
Open. Seed house.
Good day to you, miss. You have some very beautiful plants here.
Why, thank you, sir. And good day to you too. But...
Oh, I do beg your pardon. My name is Dr. John Watson. This is my good friend, Mr. Sherlock Holmes.
I am honoured to make your acquaintance, gentlemen. My name is Margaret White. Excuse me, but are you Sherlock Holmes, the great detective?
Yes, I am he.
What a pleasure to see you here at Kew Gardens. Are you working on a case?
美人さんですね。香水。なるほど。
Yes, a theft of plants that took place here a few days ago after their most recent exhibition.
Oh, yes, of course. I quite forgot about that.
Oh, it's quite understandable that you might forget about the theft of the plants, miss, after the tragedy that took place here.
Yes. The director was a truly good man. It is such a terrible misfortune.
このホワイトさんだけが園長のことをいい人だと言っているんだが、
Would you happen to know why part of the colonial collection was cleared?
No, I have never been there.
Do you work here?
Part-time only. I am a biology student at the London University. I attend the same classes as the son of Mr. Montague Dunn. That is how I found my chance to work here for part of my thesis, you see. It is a great honor.
How well did you know Mr. Montague Dunn?
He was a master, a great leader. I saw him almost as a spiritual father.
He had an exceptional nature?
Oh yes, indeed. He was always so active and so optimistic, and very nice to me. Although he could behave harshly towards his son.
Why so?
He loved his son dearly and wanted the very best for him. It made him extremely demanding. Albert, who is naturally shy, suffered because of it.
Most of the doors in Kew Gardens are locked. Do you have a key to this room?
Oh, yes. Albert gave me a set of duplicate keys. He agreed I might carry out my studies without disturbing him. It is only temporary.
Thank you, miss. None of the 3 people who work at Kew Gardens know why half of the colonial collection was cleared. So, someone is lying. It is obvious.
そうだね。窓。勝手に開けていいのがこうで。いろいろなんか、種がいっぱいあるな。誰かが嘘をついていると。残念なことに女性友達はおそらく一人もいないだろう。まあ。なるほど。じゃあちょっと園内を見回ってみますかね。
There is a smell of burning.
本当だ。焼けてるよなんか。いろいろ見たいよな。ここは何だい？鉢植えがあったりする。
A ventilation system. It should regulate the temperature of the staff
ああ、
buildings.
換気のところか。
A water tank.
で、さっきの焦げてるのは何かを燃やしている？何を燃やしている？それが問題だが。焼却場、割れた鉢。
The symbol is not from Kew Gardens. A broom handle was half burned. The remains of a picture frame. A protective mask. Someone set it alight, but it did not burn. A door handle? Why would anyone throw such a thing in the fire? The door handle to the colonial collection and that of the fireplace are made of the same material.
つまりあの部屋のものがなんか捨てられてそう
The
だね。
plants were set alight fairly recently. Some have not completely burned.
要はこれ証拠隠滅な気がしますよね、この感じ。証拠隠滅のために燃やしてんじゃねえかっていう気がする。ここは
Dry tropics.
ああ。あと彫像がどこかっていうのを、彫像かなんかそういう系のものがあるところ。
Water lily greenhouse.
彫像かでも見当たらんかったよな。ここにはこんだけね、肖像画、写真みたいなのあったから、ここにも同じように、このブロックにもね、あった気がしますよね。でちょっと事務所とか見に行くか。よし。
Champagne. Montague Dunn had good taste.
酒やってたみたいですもん
French
ね。
wine. A remarkable vintage.
お酒好きだった。
Newspapers discussing Kew Gardens.
Mm. おー、なんだこの意味深な手紙。めちゃくちゃ意味深な手紙だな。縁切り。おー。まだあれだな。足りないか。
A photograph of Montague Dunn and Reynold Hamish.
レナルド・ヘイミッシュ。これはなんかなんかあったっけ。 なんだ
There was a bottle here. It left behind a trace of the substance that pervaded the laboratory.
Gold dust? Good heavens. What's it doing here?
The gold is almost immune to chemical attacks, so it may be a valuable auxiliary for various experiments.
But why would anyone perform such experiments in a botanical garden?
Several drops of the substance were spilled. Someone carried this bottle around. Several drops of the substance were spilled. The bottle is no longer here, but it is possible to detect a faint scent. We need a good nose.
トービー
The employee's cloakroom. Locked.
Holmes, Albert Dunn didn't give us the key to this door.
It does not matter. We will open it.
関係ないらしい。あ、来たな。では、やっていきますか。こういうことかお、いけたわ。
Open.
ちょっとよく分かっていなかったけど。開いたわ。
Miss White's locker.
宝
These
石。
jewels must be worth a small fortune.
かなりの宝石だな。
A vanity purse. It is of high quality.
うん。なるほど。まあこのダウンさんのことで揉めてたっぽいな。なんとなくアルワードはマーガレットさん、ホワイトさんのことを、まあなんか、よく思っている。
Apparently, Miss White is a capable student. A draft of the letter that Miss White sent to her parents. Martin Hamish's locker.
後ろか。
Father and I, Kew Gardens.
だからここにはずっとこう親子代々で勤めているんだな。
A review on rare and exotic plants. Martin Hamish has written several pieces. Martin Hamish studied chemistry. Interesting. Albert's locker. specialist articles on shipyards and ship construction. Albert Dunn has a great passion for shipbuilding and the sea. A rejection letter from the British Royal Naval College.
.なるほど。
A picture of Miss White and Albert in front of the University of London.
And they seem to get along.
なるほどな。いろいろこう各個人個人でいろいろこう状況等もあり、全員が全員なんか
A botany book. This student's book belongs to Albert.
.化学式が書いてある。
Chemicals. A sufficient quantity for some serious experiments.
A phonograph used for voice recording. Remarkable.
Yes, this is quite a modern laboratory. I don't hear anything.
これ入れるのか。入れる。
Martin Hamish's perception of plants. The notion of communication in the plant world has long been considered marginal, yet I remain convinced that some plants do indeed transmit chemical signals in the event of attack.
A study report by Martin Hamish.
なるほど。
And it seems clear from these multiple experiments that plants do respond to their environment and have a form of consciousness. Margaret White, February 1895. Report number 245.
Study report.
あるものが必要。
This is a table for experiments. It resembles my own.
Only this one is kept in good order, Holmes.
なんとなく誰もが殺害をできたんじゃないかって。お
Gloves. Waterproof aprons. Everything one might need for self-protection.
Do they grow dangerous plants here?
It appears as though the protective equipment is missing from here. Such masks are generally worn when dealing with toxic chemicals.
よし。ではちょっと一回りしてから事務所戻ったりしようかなと思います。